Hello, beloveds. How are you today? I hope you're having a thrilling day. I hope yesterday was pleasant. I hope today is more pleasant than the last. As you know, I'm Noteworthy, and I'm here with your Sufi wisdom for the day. So, I see that there were views, no comments on Lost in Translation, the noteworthy moment this week. I'm really curious as to what did you see in your time of quietness, in your few moments of quieting your mind. What did you experience? What did you see? What did you hear? Care to share? And today's card is limitation is power. Lean into your limitations. Limitation is power. Lean into your limitations. It seems like earth being stirred. Grounding. Almost like a place of birth. That's what I'm getting. So limitation is power. Limitation is power. Lean into your limitations. Don't look for water. Become thirsty. Necessity develops organs of perception. O man, increase your necessity so that you may increase your perception. This to me brings on a little bit of a continuation of yesterday's word about moments of silence, silencing the mind. This is more of what I was expecting to hear about yesterday with the silence of the mind. But that part is preparing you for this part, the part that I spoke of, which was prayer and meditation. Because that place of silence, I have learned through my experiences and with my faith and prayer and spirit that when I am praying, I am speaking to God, to spirit, and when I am meditating, I am listening. I am hearing from God, from spirit. So, limitation is power. Don't look for water, become thirsty. Necessity develops organs of perception. O man, increase your necessity so that you may increase your perception. And this little poem reminds me of fasting. And I was taught that praying and fasting, prayer and meditation are in sync with fasting. And you get different results when you pray and fast than you get when you just originally pray. Things happen, but not like they happen when you're fasting, when your body, when your flesh is wanting, when it's denied pleasure. When the body is denied its cravings, the mind is able to ease, the body, I should say, is easier for the body to line up with your mind. When your flesh is wreaking havoc because it's not getting what it desires, its pleasures, it's more likely in that state of being denied to line up with spirit and the vein. I'm going to call it the vein of God. And not meaning vanity, but vein, source of flow. Just because there's all kinds of characters out there. So, do you have a great idea that you have placed on the back burner just because you thought it required resources outside of your reach? Well, the great mystic Rumi is talking to you. He wants you to realize that the flaring fire of inspiration is mostly sparked through limitation. Necessity provides incentive, which is the mother of all inventions. It only takes love and extended faith to make it happen. Which is true. Like, as I'm reading this in my mind, the thing that is popping up is how I believe that it was slaves that invented a lot of these landscaping machineries and things like that, farming tools and ideas, because we were the ones out there doing it. So they needed, there was a necessity for them to come up with an easier way of doing this work. And I'm sure they're responsible for many of these inventions that we use for agriculture and farming, etc. and so forth. That's how come a lot of the inventions that we know of today and we're learning are invented by Black people because of the labors, the jobs that they had to do. Minds were like, okay, there's got to be a better way to do this. And they made these inventions. But because we're considered, I'm saying in the present tense because we are still considered cattle or beasts or animals, or cattle or chattel, we're all numbered for real, that these kinds of intelligences weren't accepted from our what they call breeding. And it's amazing how involved that the deception of truth is once you start going down a rabbit hole, once you start seeking and searching and learning. And as of recently, I'll say about the last week or so, I've been reminiscing a lot on my elders who have gone before me, relatives who have passed away. They've said some peculiar things that just stuck with me, and I have been remembering them, and I've been remembering how I mean, our family is filled. My family is filled with educators and healers, and we got a lot of other personalities and disabilities as well, mentally and as well as physically, that are generational. And uh, the things that I remember most generationally, as far as my immediate family goes, was my father was an avid reader. My mother loved books and writing, and my father loved to learn. And he was um, determined to find the truth, the source. And I'm like that as well. I'm always reading and learning and trying to find out what is the real truth. I just don't, some of the things that society and the world is telling us is so, I just don't, it doesn't resonate with me. It just doesn't. And I seek it out. And as I was saying, in our family, we have a lot of teachers and healers. And we always had encyclopedias. And my father didn't believe in the school system, he believed in this system. And we always had encyclopedias. Um, we always did our research for our reports and stuff like this. This is like before the computer, guys, before the World Wide Web existed. And a lot of reading, a lot of books. Oh, my mom, she made me throw away so many books my dad had. But when you're grieving, that's why you should just let things sit until you get through your grieving process, because you're unconsciously throwing away gems. Just let it sit for a minute. Don't be so quick to discard things. But a lesson learned kind of late. But he would he used to read books on barbarism, religion, saints, um, uh, saints, and I want to say it right, Sikhs, a Sikh, but Hasidic, Hindu, Jewish, Hebrew, Greek, mechanics, mathematics, sciences, herbalisms, and sometimes when he read these books, he would get so sullen, so depressed, so weakened by how hidden and how on purpose, intentional, um, the planned destruction and corruption of the truth was. And I understand that. I get that. And I wish that he, in his latter days, he was beginning to awaken to some things. But it was kind of late um, in his physical, because his disease had taken over so much of him. And but his limitation was his power, because it caused him to thirst after knowledge. It caused him to seek and to devour it. And his only problem was he couldn't express it. He didn't know how to relate to and share what he was expressing. And that's because of the upbringing that he had. It was it was harsh and cold and calloused. And it caused him and his siblings to have problems expressing, sharing, relaying certain skills, emotions, or feelings, or habits, behaviors, even. So, limitation is power. Do you have a great idea that you have placed on your back burner just because you thought it required resources outside of your reach? Well, the great Mystic Boomy is talking to you. He wants you to realize that the flaring fire of inspiration is mostly sparked through limitation. Necessity provides incentive, which is the mother of all inventions. It only takes love and extended faith to make it happen. Okay. The Oracle is guiding you to embrace your new ideas creatively, to capitalize on them through your innovative capability. View them as opportunities rather than problems, and you will marvel at the brilliance which can evolve from limitation. Limitation is the fertile ground in which the seeds of creativity sprout and grow. Challenges, when approached positively, become helpful in getting creative juices flowing. And I believe that that is very true. And that is something that I have to consciously make myself aware of when I'm researching or learning or even writing or trying to express myself, my emotions, or the epiphany or revelations that I get. And it's hard to separate yourself sometimes from the things you feel because you feel them so deeply. But challenges, when approached positively, become helpful in getting creative juices flowing. Remember, dear one, to be ready to adapt. And that is my coping mechanism, my saving grace. Being able to adapt. It is a survival instinct. It's my answer to fight or flight. So, fight or flight. And my response is adapt. So, I'm doing both simultaneously when I adapt. I fight and I flight. Because now I no longer have to face that situation and its rage and force. I can change it, modify it, transcend it into something else by adapting. And therefore the force or the energy, the rage or the vibration has to change because I changed. And it's called codependency. It's called defense mechanism. It's called, like I said, fight or flight. It's just a survival tactic, a technique. And in a lot of ways, it's good. And in a lot of ways, it's bad because it desensitizes, calluses other emotions and behaviors. It hinders them from forming, like being able to separate yourself, to set a boundary for yourself, or to even protect yourself. It could be because you're just so open and vulnerable, because that's how you have to be to adapt. A chameleon has to be susceptible to what is around in order to change as into its familiar, to look like its surroundings, to become familiar. Okay, remember, dear one, to be ready to adapt. Be flexible, prepared to bend and make the shifts as it becomes necessary. When unexpected things happen, do not see them as obstacles to your creativity. Respond with imagination and a new way of looking at them that becomes part of the creation itself. This is why I always stress to go back to the little you, the child in you, because that is the innocence and the forgivingness and the subtle and bendable, flexible part of the child, because they're naive to the devices of this world, how they manipulate and control and lead you to other things. But I feel like I'm gonna have to do another noteworthy moment. But yes, way of looking at them and become part of the creation. And as children, our imaginations are freer because we don't have all of these preconceived concepts of the world that we're living in. We don't have the rules and the regulations. Our minds are sponges. We're open and we're free to, okay, you did something bad to me. It's okay. I'll live. It's forgivable. It's okay. Let me go explore some more. The thing, and as we're exploring, some of the things we're exploring, yes, they hurt us, they hinder us, but we learn. And sometimes we got to go through it more than once. And sometimes the things that happen to us are so severe that we remove ourselves from them in order to adapt, to survive. And in my experience, it's caused me to I don't want to say warp, but I would say, I don't even want to say hinder. It changed my level of imagination. I'll say that. It changed my level of imagination, how it became easier for me to stop imagining. It just, because I began to spend so much time in survival mode that I didn't imagine, I didn't dream anymore. And now, after losing both of my parents, it's like this cord of some sort was cut, and I was released to seek and believe what all of the things that I searched for prior to this, because some part of me did not want to offend or disrupt the belief system of my parents. I so solemnly believed in honoring my parents, and I did that to the best of my ability. And not knowing that they had no clue what they were doing, because they were children, broken children from a broken home, who were with other broken people. So their care, their loving, and their nurturing for me was limited. And they used their imagination with a lot of things, survival things. Like I can definitely say I'm much like my parents, and in a lot of ways I'm not like my parents. But limitation is power. I'm gonna stop there because this can go on and on. But limitation is power. Lean into your limitations. And help you, pray, meditate, look into what feeds your imagination, what areas in your life, in your thinking, in your doing, do you imagine that bring you life, that bring you joy, that make you want to explore and learn and wonder. That's it's never ever too late, too young, or too old to do that. There's always, as long as uh, time is evolving and going on, there's always time. Always time. Because spirit never dies, it just transforms. So, that's our oracle for today. Limitation is power. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I love you to life, and I'll see you in the future.